With episode 4 of the show coming to an end, the release of the episode 5 trailer has already shown us something interesting. The next episode will be released on Friday and not Sunday, so we've only got a few days to wait until the next installment. With Ellie and Joel being held up on the 33rd floor in the closing moments of the most recent episode, episode 5 certainly looks as though it's going to be risky, deadly, and provide a glimpse into the past again. So with that, I'm going to break down and explain the most recent trailer and give my theories and predictions to what I think is going to happen next. So let's get into it. Here is the Last of Us episode 5 trailer explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The trailer opened up with a view of the city that we saw Joel and Ellie find themselves in the most recent episode of the show, Kansas City. It looked as though there were people roaming around and patrolling the streets. Not in uniform though, in their own clothing. I feel like this is going to be a shot that's taken from the present day. The line that was being spoken over the top of this was uttered by Kathleen. She said things have gone great, which I think is alluding to the fact that they're now living in a city that doesn't have Fedra ruling it, and they've been able to survive fine. The next shot that we had was of the town in disarray one evening, where there appeared to be flames all around the city. I feel this could be taken from one of two moments. It could either be from the moment that we saw at the end of the trailer where it looked as though the Bloaters were inside of the city after breaking free from under the ground, or it could be part of a flashback. A flashback to a time where I imagine we're going to see the Fedra-run state at the time being overthrown by the people, due to the residents of Kansas City not wanting to feel oppressed anymore and actually wanting to live by their own rules. Due to the lack of panic in this specific moment and nobody looking as though they were becoming infected, it could be part of the flashback. I imagine if the Bloaters were there, it would be a bit more chaotic. The following line that we had being spoken was by Kathleen, and she said the words, "Haven't you heard? Kansas City is free." Due to the sheer amount of people that were being contained behind a fence, it feels like this could be when the city got the freedom and she's speaking to people that may have been detained by Fedra. However, I believe this could be her recruiting the hunters to work for her and informing them that if they want to be free, they essentially have to work for her in the new ruling of the city. Or if this is in the present day, this could be the collaborators that still live amongst the city that are opposed to the free ruling that Kathleen has, so maybe she's rounded them up. The next line that we had was from Kathleen saying, "Where's Henry?" We still don't know the reason as to why Kathleen is looking for Henry, but I imagine we're most likely going to be finding out in the next episode, as I feel they're definitely going to encounter each other again. After this, we then had Henry signing towards Sam. So this shows us that Sam is deaf in this world that's riddled with cordyceps and doesn't have the ability to hear. Henry signed to Sam, "Look at me, not that." As in the background there was a truck that had a soldier saying, "Collaborators, surrender now." Again, I'm a little torn if this is something that's out of context. Could a collaborator be somebody who's working with Fedra and was initially resisting the overthrowing of them? Or could this just be part of the present day where they're hunting for Sam and Henry? It could be either of them. The next shot that we had was of Joel, Ellie, Henry and Sam all together looking as though the hostage situation that Joel and Ellie were in at the end of episode 4 was able to be ironed out smoothly, following an explanation of who they were and why they were there. It looked as though they were heading towards a nursery of some kind, where it showed us the harsh reality of what the world had become, and provided a haunting reminder of what it used to be, a world full of colour. Kathleen spoke a line that said, "He told me to forgive, but where is the justice in that?" I'm intrigued to know what this could be about. Kathleen mentioned her brother earlier on in episode 4, so maybe it could have something to do with his death and she wants to seek revenge, despite the fact that he told her to forgive the person that did something to him. That's one theory anyway. This was followed by an explosion that occurred where it seemed as though Henry was covering up Sam and protecting him. It seems as though they're going to get found by the people of the city as all of the cars were in the distance blocking off the road to be able to exit, so a face-off is something that seems as though is going to happen. We then had a quick succession of shots. I think one of them is from a flashback due to the different clothing that Henry was wearing. So this could be from moments before he went on the run, where maybe we'll get to find out why Kathleen wants him to be found so badly. We then also had the present day where it seemed as though there was Henry, Sam and Ellie all running down a road where the other shot had a group of people from the city all in trucks, looking like they were closing in on them. Plus, there was also a shot where Ellie was running down the road and it seemed as though she turned around as if to imply that she was going to fire her weapon. There was the noise of a car in the background, so it seems as though there will be people in a car that are driving after her. In fact, actually the trucks with the plow on the front, as we saw one ram straight through a car. After this, we then had a shot of Kathleen pointing her weapon at somebody, and judging by the lighting, it looks as though it could be paired up with the moment that we saw Henry walking around from the back of a car with his hands up. We also had the line, "It ends the way it ends," being spoken as they were facing off. The next line that we had was of Joel screaming, "Run," towards Ellie, as it looked as though she was set to be face to face with a bloater, an individual that's at the last stage of the infection. In the final shot of the trailer, there were several bloaters that looked as though they were coming out of the ground. So this is most likely alluding to the fact that what Kathleen decided to ignore in episode 4 will now be coming back to bite not only her but the rest of the residents in Kansas City, as it seems set to be overthrown with bloaters. With Sam and Henry's fate not ending well within the game, it does make me wonder if this is going to be the episode where we're going to see it happen. Now let's just touch on the bloaters. A bloater is an individual that's been infected and has managed to stay alive long enough for the infection to reach the 4th level, so it tends to be a good few years. Unlike a clicker and a runner or stalker, bloaters are incredibly strong and have built up an armor on them, meaning that the usual ways to take out an early stage infected person doesn't necessarily apply to them. They're blind, just like clickers, but the noise they emit is of a deeper nature. Bloaters are significantly slower than the early stage infected individuals, but with the lack of speed comes an increase in strength. They're by far the strongest stage of the infection and are the hardest to defeat when facing off against them. They're known to kill the people that they get in the most brutal of fashion, so I feel we may see some epic moments between the bloaters and the hunters in the next episode. The best and most efficient way to take out a bloater is by using weapons that emit fire, as they're susceptible to fire and it causes the most damage. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen in the next episode. With it only being a few days away, it's even more exciting, as the bloaters are about to tear up the city in a way like we've not seen before. We'll also get to know 2 new characters who are familiar from the game, so it'll be great to see them being portrayed on screen. There's a lot to look forward to. So, there you have it, The Last of Us Episode 5 trailer explained. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.